Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Nehemiah from the House of Israel Ministries. Coming to you with a Sabbath class today. Shalom, shalom, Facebook. Brother Nehemiah coming to you with a Sabbath class today from the House of Israel Ministries. This class I'm going to go over today is called Sin Causes Physical and Spiritual Sickness. Spiritual and physical sickness. Like, our people don't take this seriously of the laws that the Most High gave to us to keep. And it's ridiculous. And then we wonder why we suffer from the most diseases out of anyone. Get this up. Because we break God's laws. Simple as that. Things that we eat, things that we do, and we're going to go over that. We're going to go over those things. A few of these laws that we break, but we're just going to dig into the depths of it. That basically the Most High straight up told us that if we went against them, these things would happen. So I'm going to bring this out for our people because a lot of them don't believe it is real. So we're going to see what the Most High say. First scripture I'm going to start off with is John 8:32. Get that. We all should know that. And if you don't, it said, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. But if you know anything about the scriptures or you don't, the truth is the Most High and his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the truth, that we are the Hebrew Israelites, and that we were given these laws, statutes, and commandments, and that he told us in Deuteronomy what would happen to us if we didn't adhere to it. So we're going to go back over that. So the first thing we need to know, for if you don't know, is what is sin? What is sin? So let me get that for anybody who don't know. Let's go to 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. What is sin? Because that's you really need to know that. They don't teach that in the church of what sin is. And that's the main thing. They tell you, they talk about it, but they don't give you the scripture on it. So the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3 is, for this is the Salakia 3 and 4. I put the wrong one. Salakia, 1 John 3, 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. So whosoever breaketh the law, that's what transgressive means. Whosoever breaketh the law committeth sin. Who was given the law? The Israelites was given the law. So we the ones that sin against the Most High. So brothers out here coming at people as if you sinned against them. No, we're sinning against the Most High God. He the one gave us the laws. Man is lawless, as you see. If we listen to man, we wouldn't have no laws, not no godly laws. But the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. And when we break those as Israelites, we sin against him. And even these heathens sin against him, man. They ain't exempt. Just because they wasn't given the law, they still sin against him. So whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. Sin is the breaking of the law. So the title of this class is Sin Causes Physical and Spiritual Sickness. Spiritual and physical sickness in the body. And we're going to explore how is that for anyone who does not know. We'll get that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. And then we're going to go back because it really has been from the beginning, but we're going to pull what involves us right now. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So the Most High told us right here, if either we'll do all his commandments and statutes this day, or we going to be cursed. That was from the beginning, man. Anybody who go against the Most High, he going to put a curse on you. And if you tune into my last class last week, I did the wages of sin is death. So this is just bringing it back a little bit and just showing you how sin affects you daily in this life. Yeah, sin will eventually take you out, but sin affecting your health can be a slow, long-suffering process. So he told us, if we don't observe, if we don't, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 21. Let's see one of those curses. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. So, pestilence. Do anybody know what pestilence means? Let me get that, show you what pestilence means. If you got Google, pull it up. Let's get the definition of pestilence. Because we got to go into the etymology of words. We got to look up the definition of words. We got to know what these words mean. And the definition of pestilence, a deadly or virulent epidemic disease, bubonic plague, something that is considered harmful, destructive, or evil. So in Deuteronomy 28 and 21, the Most High said that the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee. That's viruses, that's diseases. He said that's one of the curses. So when we look today and we suffer from all these different diseases, he told us that he was going to curse us with this if we went against him. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 27. Shalom, brothers and sisters, whoever watching and studying with me. The Lord shall smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou cannot be healed. Salakia, 1 second. Shalom, brother. Shalom. No, I'm actually in the middle of doing a class right now. Yeah, and if I get free, I swing down there. All right, all right. Shalom, brother. Shalom, shalom. Sorry about that. Go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 27. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab. Emeralds is hemorrhoids. And with the scab, that's the scab of your head, the hair, you know how the sister's missing that scab around her head, and with the itch, you know what that itch is, whereof thou cannot be healed. So this is another set of issues that he was going to give us if we went against him. Verse 28. Let me get that. I should have put that there. Let's keep going. Deuteronomy 28, verse 28. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness and with and blindness and astonishment of heart. That madness, man, that goes into a lot of different things. That's psychological. That's psychological. Blindness is the coonery. You know what I'm saying? That's psychological. When you're against your own people, you blind. You can't even see that you're an Israelite. You can't even see that you are not a slave, that you are not equal to the white man, that you're not the same as the white man, that we are not all humans under the same umbrella. You blind to the fact that you should be a priest of the Most High God and that you're above all nations on the face of this earth. You're blind to the fact that you are in captivity and serving your enemy right now. That's psychological, man, because a lot of people don't even want to know. An astonishment of heart. It's an astonishment that our people cannot wake up from this slumber that they're in, especially with the atrocities that's happening to us. The Most High is making those things happen to us to wake us up. He's not doing it for nothing. We can get that out the book of Maccabees, Second Maccabees, I believe, chapter 6. Just he tells you that these things that happen is an example for us. He wants us to come out of this. He wants us not to be a reproach to him. Let's see here. I'm going to read this out of Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastising of our nation. That's what all these stories in here for. All these examples is to be examples, to be lessons. That's what they are, lessons for us to learn from. If you smart, you wouldn't want to learn the hard way. You'll want to learn the easy way. So he's trying to give you a chance. He's trying to give us a chance by giving us these examples out of the scriptures. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28, verse 34 and 35. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy feet unto the top of thy head. This is other illnesses that the Most High put on us due to the curses, because we want to go against him, man. So he telling us in Deuteronomy, all throughout Deuteronomy, what he would do to us if we went against him. It's simple. But it makes common sense that we suffer from the most because we are the ones that has a greater responsibility to come to the Most High and serve him. Let's get Deuteronomy 28, verse 59 through 62. Then the Lord will make thee plagues, thy plagues wonderful. Thy plagues, that's diseases. And the plagues of thy seed, that's our children, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of the law, them will the Lord bring upon thee. See, even the plagues is not written in the book of the law. HIV wasn't written in the book of the law. So that's one that's affect our people. And he told us in advance. It may not be written in the book of the law, but it still will affect you. All these different swine flu, H1N1, all this different stuff that's out here. Ebola, that will affect us. He will leave us wide open to those things, man. Let me see. Them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed, and ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou would have not obeyed the voice of the Lord thy God. See, he brought it right back around. He gonna keep reiterating himself on us not keeping his commandments, his law, statutes, and commandments. He gonna keep reiterating that because that's the cause of all our problems. That's the cause of all our problems. Let's go to Genesis. It's Genesis chapter 3, verse 17. verse 17 and 9 through 19. This is our forefather Adam. Let's see, how did it start here? If we were supposed to be gods on this earth, and when Adam and Eve sinned, that made us not be gods on this earth. And it was a steady progression for us to get to the point where we at. We went from gods to brothers and sisters dying at 50, 45 because of heart attacks, high blood pressure, gout, diabetes. Book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 17. And because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herbs of the field. So he really was cursed to eat the herbs of the field and of that tree after he did it. The ground curses the ground for thy sake. In the sorrow shalt thou eat of it all thy days. We got to eat of this cursed ground. We got to eat of the herbs of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return unto the ground. Until we die, we're going to have to eat bread. We're going to have to eat. We're going to have to sustain these bodies with food, which if you was a god, food wouldn't be a problem. And as a man who eats, or any man who eats 3 times a day, you know you're continuously getting hungry. That is a problem. And if you run out of food, you're going to die. So you have to keep replenishing. But if you was a god, you wouldn't have to worry about that. You won't have to worry about eating. You wouldn't be cursed to have to eat of the herbs of the field and eat the bread. You know what I'm saying? For out of it was thou taken. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So Adam was cursed. Adam and Eve got us cursed to go back into the ground and not have everlasting life as gods immediately. But let's see, it went a step further. That's a little while later in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And let's see, he chopped us down again. The Most High chopped us down some more on our life aspects. The book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. In 120 years, the Most High put a cap on our life expectancy. And you would not find nobody living over 120 years today. There's people who live up there and get over 100, 110, 116. But the Most High put a cap on that. That was another chop down on us, man. So it's been a progression. And that's from us. That also, when the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, were fair. That's what fair means, beautiful. They sinned. They sinned. That's why he chopped us down again. So it revolves around sinning. He shortened our days to be 120. So, and as we keep going, if we keep sinning against him, he'll chop you down even more than that. He'll chop you down from you just getting into this world, he'll take you out. So let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 4, and verse 11. The book of Exodus, chapter 4, and verse 11. And the Lord said unto him, who has made man's mouth? And who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? So the Most High is the one who gives us the sickness for sinning against him. And the Most High is the one that heals us. You know what I'm saying? Not them witches that's called doctors. They have no power. And we're going to go into that too. Whatever power they have was given by the Most High. But the Most High is the one that heals us and makes us sick, gives us diseases and takes them away. It's simple. If you're not doing what you're not supposed to do, then certain things won't happen to you. But if you go out your way to do those things, and we're going to point out some of those things, then rest assured that the chances of something happening to you is great. So we know that the Most High is the one that will make you dumb, make somebody come out dumb, that's slow, retarded, or deaf, can't hear, you know what I'm saying? Or the seeing, or the blind. He'll make you to be able to see. He'll make you blind. He the one that does that. So when somebody come out the womb with a problem, that's the Most High did that for the sins of the father or mother or that person in the previous life. And we're going to go through that. So the Lord giveth and he taketh away. Let's go to Exodus chapter 15, verse 26. Book of Exodus chapter 15, verse 26. And said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, not in the sight of men, in the sight of the Most High God, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. The Lord healeth. He the one put these diseases on us, and he the one that will take them away. So he's giving us the remedy. He's giving us the answer. And let me see, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. This is repetition. That's why this Bible isn't hard. It all revolves around the same thing, being obedient to the Most High God. Let's go Exodus 23, verse 25. Hope everybody doing all right out there on this lovely Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to my family out here. The book of Exodus, chapter 23 and verse 25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Another precept to go along with that. If we serve the Most High God, he will take sickness away from us. He will take sickness away from us. The same way it got there, by going against him, he'll take it away by coming back to him. I hope that nobody has a problem with repetition, because it's going to say the same thing. And also, that's physical. Those physical diseases. Also, spiritual. We need spiritual healing because we're spiritually sick also. A lot of our people are spiritually sick. We're worshiping a white deity. We're not keeping the Sabbath. We're hating our people. We're going against the commandments. That's spiritually sick. A lot of people was born into it, and a lot of people just choose to go against the Most High God. But either way, you're spiritually sick. If you're a reprobate, you're spiritually sick. And the Most High got to deal with you. He the one made you a reprobate. We're going to get that too out of Romans. The Most High will make you a reprobate, which will make you spiritually sick. And the Most High will make you right if you do what he told you to do, if you be obedient to him. And just like a good father, obedience is key, man. If we can't be obedient to the Most High God, then what are we doing here? Shalom, Brother Clifton. All praise to the Most High. So the book of Hosea, let me get some more. Bear with me right quick. I need some more scriptures on that. The book of Hosea, chapter 6. verse 1 through 6. Let's get into that spiritual healing, man. Right now, our people need spiritual healing. And that spiritual healing comes from the knowledge of self, the knowledge of your God. So let's see, the book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord, for he has torn and he will heal us. For he hath torn and he will heal us. The Most High is the one that will rip us apart and the one that will put us back together. He the one that divided the nation. He the one that's going to put it back together. He has smitten and he will bind us. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day he will raise us up. Does that sound familiar? And he shall live, and we shall live in his sight. That's what it's all about. It ain't about being in man's sight. It's about being in the sight of the Most High God. It's about being right in his sight, not in man's sight. But if you right in his sight, you're going to be right in man's sight unless he's just a wicked man. You know what I'm saying? The wicked ain't going to get this. Verse 3, then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come unto us as the rain, as the latter and former rain unto the earth. O Ephraim, what shall I do unto thee? O Judah, what shall I do unto thee? For your goodness is as a morning cloud, and as the early dew, it goes away. Therefore have I shewed them by the prophets, and I have slain them by the words of my mouth. And thy judgments are as the light that goeth forth. For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. So it ain't about no sacrifice at this point. It's about the knowledge of God. And the knowledge of God is the law, statutes, and commandments. And the law, statutes, and commandments is obedience to the Most High God. So it all go together. I just did a class on wisdom. Wisdom goes all into that. It ain't about no sacrifices right now. It's about the knowledge of God. Let me get that. The book of Sirach. Let's get that knowledge. The book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law, a life for inheritance. This the knowledge. This the knowledge of the Most High God. The law of life. The law of life. So that's what we got to adhere to, man, and we will be all right. So let's go to another example of spiritual healing, of need for spiritual healing, because it's physical and it's spiritual. So, but you got to keep that physical right so that you can be here long enough to be able to get your spirit right. If you being so wicked, eating them hog maws and pigs' feet, the rooter to the tutor, and you mess around, you're going to cut your time short. And then you might not have time up under this grace to get yourself right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's paramount to make haste when you find out this truth. Let's go to Matthew chapter 9, verse 10. This is Yahushua. And it came to pass, as Yahushua sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. Because Yahushua was in the hood. He was with his people, man. How could we teach anybody? Why would we be downtown or why would we be uptown? I live in Dallas. Why would we be in uptown where it's mostly white people at, trying to get them the word when we can be in the hood giving it to our people? What makes more sense? Giving it to the people that's your people and the ones that really need it, or giving it to somebody that isn't going to adhere to it anyway? So Yahushua was with the publicans and sinners, came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth you, Salaki, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? But when Yahushua heard that, he said unto them, see, they going to try to go ask the disciples. But Yahweh heard it himself. And he can read your thoughts. He can read what you're saying. We're going to pull that in the next scripture. So, and it happened also with Abraham and his wife, that they be Salakia. But when Yahweh heard it, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice. For I am not come to call the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. So if you thinking you holier than thou, more righteous, he ain't come for you because you think you already got it. He came for the sinners. He came for the ones who didn't know. They're the ones who sick. That's where the spiritual sickness come in at. So it works both ways. So if you eat that pork, right, that pork gonna mess you up physically, but also spiritually because you're fornicating against the Most High. You might well make a sacrifice to Belial or something after you eat that swine because that's how bad it is. So you see how that work both ways. And we're gonna show in another scripture that they are tied in together. So that's part of that spiritual healing. Yahweh came for the sinners, man. That's the same way for us. How they gonna get to understand? You see, it said they came and sat down with him. So that means that he wasn't yelling at them. He wasn't making them feel bad. He wasn't talking down on them. They came and sat down with him. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be for all of us. We are here for the sinners. We are sinners. We ain't supposed to have the crab in the bucket mentality of keeping each other in the bucket. We're supposed to be helping each other out of the bucket. So that's what Yahweh came to do. Ain't we supposed to be fishermen of men? How can we fish the men if we yelling at them? Jeremiah 16:16. Let me get that right quick. Jeremiah 16:16. We supposed to fish the people. Can't fish the people if you yelling at them. Look at Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters. So it's going to come a time, there's a time for every season. It's going to come a time for the hunters. Right now we fishing. And they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of every hole of the rocks. We can't do that yet. So you know we in fishing season. It's fishing season, it ain't hunting season. So we got to act accordingly to fish our people. We're doing spiritual healing. Personally, we got to do physical healing by what we're eating, what we're taking in, what we're ingesting. Spiritual healing, we got to come help the people with that. For the ones who don't know. Let me see that again. Let me go back to Matthew chapter 9, verse 12. But when Yahweh heard it, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician. He said that but they that are sick. He said that because they are spiritually sick. Why would you go yell at a crazy person? They sick. That's what we doing. I'm not knocking brothers in camps, but we got to get smarter, man. Why would you go yell at somebody that's sick? That don't make no sense. Yahweh didn't do that. So we got to wake up. We got to do better as teachers. Our teachers out here, you gotta advance, man. We got to do better. So let's go to Luke chapter 5, verse 17. Let's get back on the physical. See what Yahweh did for the physical. 5, verse 17 through 32. We're gonna read most of this. Show you how sickness, illness is tied into sin. The book of Luke, chapter 5, verse 17. And it came to pass on a certain day, as he was teaching, that there were Pharisees and doctors of the law. See, I ain't making this up. Doctors of the law. What is a doctor of the law? They coming to heal you with the scriptures. You're sick. You're in sin. You're sick. A doctor of the law comes teach you the law, try to straighten you out with the law. And there were Pharisees and doctors of the law sitting by, which were come up out of the town of Galilee and Judea and Jerusalem. And the power of the Lord was present to heal them. And behold, men brought in a bed a man which was taken with palsy. This man had cerebral palsy. He was sick. And they sought means to bring him in and to lay him before him. And when they could not find by what way they might bring him in because of the multitude, they went upon this house stoop and let him down through the tiling with his couch in the midst before Yahushua. So they let him down through the tile of the house. They were trying to get this man healed because they believed, man. Verse 20, and when he saw their faith, he said unto them, man, thy sins are forgiven. Why would Yahushua say his sins are forgiven? Because he know that this man's sins is the reason why he had cerebral palsy. That's why he started with that. They brought him in to be healed of the cerebral palsy. Yahushua said, thy sins be forgiven. Okay. Let me find my spot. Thy sins are forgiven thee. Verse 21. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, who is this which speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone? Verse 22. But when Yahushua perceived their thoughts, Yahushua perceived their thoughts. This wasn't a regular man, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, he existed. He walked. It's people with different gifts and powers on this earth. But see, a Jew needs a sign. We don't believe nothing unless we see it for ourselves. But that's why they doing him the same way. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. And we'll do it right now because we need a sign. We don't believe it. We ain't never seen it before. Let's see. Verse 23. Verse 22. But when Yahushua perceived their thoughts, he answered and said unto them, what reason ye in your hearts? Whether it's easier to say, thy sins be forgiven thee, or to say, raise up and walk. Because he said, which one is easier to do? Say your sins are forgiven or to raise up and walk? Because he had the power to do that. They didn't understand that. But that ye may know that the Son of Man has power upon earth to forgive sins. He said he got power upon earth to forgive sins given by the Father. He said unto the sick of the palsy, I say unto thee, arise and take up thy couch and go in thine house. And immediately he rose up before them and took up that whereon he lay and departed to his own house, glorifying God. Glorifying God. He didn't glorify Yahushua. He glorified the Most High God. And they were all amazed. And they glorified God. Who in here glorified Yahushua? Yahushua did the miracle. But who did they get the glory to? Because they understood. That's why they came to see him. And were filled with fear, saying, we have seen strange things today, because they had never seen it before. And if it happened again today, Negroes will say the same thing. It'll be some that believe, and it'll be some that's saying, no, I don't believe it. But they'll believe the white man and everything that he do or don't do and lie about. It's about faith. That's why he said faith. He knew that an Israelite don't believe nothing unless they see it. So he gonna test you. I'm gonna see if they got faith that it actually happened. You know what I'm saying? Verse 27. And after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. And he left all, rose up and followed him. Verse 29. And Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and of others that sat down with them. But their scribes and Pharisees murmured against the disciples, saying, why do ye eat and drink with publicans and sinners? And Yahushua answering said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but the sinners to repentance. That's a precept to go with um, Matthew 9 and 10 through 13. So he breaking it down for you. The people who don't have faith don't believe. That's why that's a key component that got put in there. Because your sins is your sicknesses is a result of your sins. Period. Let's go to John chapter 5, verse 5. Is that what I want? The book of John, chapter 5, verse 5 through 9. All right. Let's see what Yahushua said on this. The book of John, chapter 5, verse 5. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. So this man was sick for 38 years. When Yahushua saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he said unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? Wilt thou be made whole? The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man when the waters is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I am coming, another stepped down before me. So at this time, it was a pool that they had every so often. No, once a year, the angel would come down and people that get in the pool will be healed. And the man didn't have nobody to take him down there. He said every time he tried to go down there, somebody stepped down before him. So verse 8, Yahushua saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. Same thing he told the other brother. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Drop down to verse 14, the book of John chapter 5, verse 14. Afterwards, Yahushua findeth him in the temple and said unto him, Behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. He told him to sin no more. The reason why he told him to sin no more, because of you sinning is the reason why you had the illness, the infirmity in the first place, and had to suffer with it for 38 years. But if you get away from that, you won't have to deal with that. That's why people need to get off their porch, because it causes a lot of infirmities, and we're going to touch on that too. But this is Yahushua showing you, leave it alone. You don't sin no more. But a lot of people who get saved out of situation say, Lord, Lord, I ain't going to do it no more. Please forgive me, Lord. And as soon as they out the situation, they go right back and do it again. And then when something else worse happened, don't feel bad, because you broke a covenant. You asked for the help, then you broke the covenant. This is not no joke. All of us know this stuff, man. All of us know that when we in a situation, we praying to God to help us out. So I'm letting you know, as soon as you get that help, don't go against the covenant that you made with him, because it was real. Because he will leave you stuck out. So I don't know who got the, if you got the Apocrypha, we're going to go to the Apocrypha next. We're going to go to the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 1. I'm going to do a little reading. Okay, let me see here. Bear with me right quick. I have some technical issues. Right, anybody who doesn't have one, you can pull it up on your phone. But you want to get that book, because that book is in the Bible. It's 14 books in Apocrypha. The Apocrypha means hidden books. They're in the Bible. They're supposed to go into the Bible. It was taken out of the 1611 King James. the book of Sirach, chapter 38, verse 1. So anybody who think they're going to get around the Most High God, and I'm just going to go to the doctor. I'm going to have great health care, and I'm just going to go to the doctor, and I'm going to live forever. And let's see who that doctor works for, if the Most High let him do his thing. Because there's people who go to the doctor and still die. A lot of people. Let's see. The book of Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus out of the Apocrypha, chapter 38 and verse 1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him. For the Lord has created him. So the physician didn't create himself, man. The Most High created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive the honor of king. So the Most High does the healing. So when that physician dealing with you, it's not him that heals you. It's up to the Most High if you're going to heal from that procedure in which this doctor is doing. And if that doctor is successful, he shall receive the honor of the king. Verse 3, the skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord has created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. So the Most High has created herbs, spices, minerals, different things that's used for healing, natural things that's used for healing. He told us not to hate those. Abhor means to hate. He told us not to hate those things because a lot of people don't want to do the natural stuff. They'd rather go to the pharmacy and get some opioids and get what the so-called white man prescribed to you. That's going to kill you. That's going to have you hooked on something. And that's the proof is in the pudding. Their medicines will have you hooked. You know what I'm saying? You might just have to use them. I try to stay away from them because they're as much as damaging as they are helpful. But if we go back to what the Most High told us, we won't have to deal with that. Verse 5. I'm going to drop to verse 9. My son, in thy sickness be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. So when your sickness, you better be praying before you get sick. And he really talking to somebody who does the Lord's work and does pray to the Lord and does listen to what he say. He say, in thy sickness, be not negligent, but pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin. It's repetition. Leave off from sin, and order thine hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. So for you, first of all, for the Lord to deal with you, you can't be sinning. And for him to hear your prayers, you can't be sinning. Because the Lord doesn't hear a sinner's prayer. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get that for you. The Lord does not hear a sinner's prayer. Let's go to the book of John. I want to write these down. Book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. I ain't making this up. It's in the scriptures. The book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. Now we know that God heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of God and doeth him his will, him God heareth. If any man be a worshiper of God and doeth his will, the will of the Most High God is to do his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's his will. Second address 15. We'll get another one for you. The book of Second Esdras, chapter 15, verse 24. That ain't what I want. Proverbs 28:9, that's what I want. Let's see if that's what I want. Proverbs 28:9. So the Most High ain't dealing with you if you're not dealing with him. Don't think that you're gonna go do wickedness all the days of your life and then turn around and think he just gonna be down for you. The book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from Salaki, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination. So don't think you're gonna call on him if he ain't been dealing with you and you ain't been dealing with him, because it's gonna fall on deaf ears. The Most High is not no man that you just gonna treat any kind of way. I'm not even that type of man. I know brothers who ain't like that. And if we in his image, then we know the Most High God ain't playing no games. You know what I'm saying? So let's go back to the book of Ecclesiastes, which is Sirach, chapter 38. I'm going to start at 10 again. Leave off from sin and order thine hands aright and cleanse thine heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savor and a memorial of fine flour and make a fat offering as not being. Verse 12. Then give a place to the physician, for the Lord has created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. There is a time when their hands, there is a good success. Let me read that again. There is a time when in their hands there is good success, for they shall also pray unto the Lord that he would prosper that. So you better hope that that physician is praying unto the Lord too, that he could prosper that, which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hands of the physician. So the best case scenario is that you don't fall into the hands of the physician. Is that you keep God's laws and he keep you healthy and give you a long life so that you can do his will on this earth. That's the best case scenario. And that's what I hope for. I don't know about nobody else. And I don't want to just live on this earth just to live on this earth. I'm going to live on this earth to do the will of the Father as long as I'm here. And outside of that, there ain't no reasons. This earth is finished. Look at the condition it's in. Let's go to the book of James, chapter 5, verse 13. We're going to read 13 through 16. Is any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Let him do what? Let him pray. That's the first beginnings of getting healing from the Most High God. If is any among you afflicted, let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing psalms. Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the church. Why are they calling for the elders of the church? Because they want them to pray over them. It's not them. So don't listen to none of these pastors talking about they healing. They ain't doing nothing. The Most High doing everything. They ain't laying hands. Ain't nobody here to lay no hands right now. Ain't nobody here to lay no hands to heal right now. Those days are gone. You know what I'm saying? It's all in the, that's why he left you this talking about the physician. You not gonna come out. We're not clean. We're not cleansed. We're not holy. We're not none of that. That's why we fall into the hands of the physician. We can only hope to try to cleanse ourselves while we under grace to try to get close to the Lord, because we are sick in some kind of way. That's just facts. Because if you're not coming out righteous, meaning that you came out the womb knowing the law, keeping the law all your life, then we all in the same boat. So it say, let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. Verse 15, the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and the Lord shall raise him up. And if he have committed sins, there you go again. Sick, sick, sickness, diseases. It's spiritual and it's physical. If he have committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Confess your faults one to another and pray one to another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man, not of anybody. That's why if you don't know your pastor ain't teaching the law, statutes, commandments, then he's not a true prophet, a true messenger of the Lord of hosts. That's just facts. So how he gonna pray over you? He need to pray for himself. And he don't need to pray in the open. He need to go into his closet and pray. The Most High gave us distinct orders, man, on how to go about doing it. So when somebody's not doing it properly, like the Lord said, you know when they out of bounds. That's how you don't know a prophet was in the midst of you by what he's saying to you. And the Most High say, if he not telling you to keep, I'm just gonna give it to you. Let's go to Malachi, the book of Malachi. I ain't gonna talk it. I'm gonna show it. Well, for my people on YouTube, I got to talk it to the people on Facebook. The book of Malachi. It's not what I wanted. 2 or 7. The book of Malachi. The book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge. They should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts. So if he's a priest, a pastor, a minister, an evangelist, a prophet, or whatever they call themselves, he should keep knowledge. That knowledge is the law of the Most High God. That knowledge keeps us in order. Without that law, we won't have no order, which is why we don't have any order right now. It's why we run around talking about we real niggas. I'm a real nigga. Because why is we real niggas? Because we not the kings and the priests that the Most High made us, because we don't have any knowledge. Because our leaders, our pastors, our preachers, our ministers ain't teaching that. So if somebody gonna teach this Bible, like you only gonna hear it from me, I'm gonna keep saying the law, the statutes and commandments. Because I know for the priest's lips should keep knowledge. They should seek the law at his mouth. For he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. So let's go to Sirach chapter 30 out of the Apocrypha again. Sirach chapter 30. Better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution. Constitution is our laws, statutes, and commandments. And I'm going to do a class on that showing that how the laws, statutes, and commandments is the constitution of the nation of Israel. But better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution, being sound and strong of the laws of God, of being obedient to God, than a rich man that is afflicted in his body. You can be rich, have $1 billion, and need a heart, or got multiple sclerosis, or be like Stephen Hawking in the chair. You know what I'm saying? You can have money, but are you healthy? Is your body afflicted? So he said it's better to be poor, being sound and strong in the constitution, than rich and be afflicted in the body. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. That's why these people that got all the money still are melanin, still are hearts, are body parts, because we have the strongest DNA. They have the money, but we got the strongest DNA, and they know this. So he said, good health and good estate of body are above all gold. So like those NFL players, NBA players, baseball players, they got strong bodies, and it's above all gold. That's why they pay them all that money, and they wish they can have those bodies and do what they do. So they pay them. And a strong body above infinite wealth. Verse 16, there is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. Death is better because you in long suffering. It's better to die than be in continuous sickness and have a bitter life on this planet, man. We already in hell, and you add a disease, a sickness, an illness to go along with that. Oh my goodness, it's over. It's overboard. So he said, death is better than a bitter life and continuous sickness. And anybody who suffered through some things will probably agree with that. So let's go to the book of it's 3rd John. Let's go. Let's go. John 3, 1 and 2. Chapter 1, verse 2. It's the 3rd John, the last John. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. So, in all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, be in good health, even as thy soul prospers. So you want your health and your soul to prosper. They should prosper simultaneously, because it's hard to say, for instance, if somebody is smoking crack, for your soul to prosper towards the Lord and your body to prosper. It's not happening. You bring both of them down when you commit a wickedness. When you commit a sin, you bring your soul down and you bring your body down when you're doing those things. So it's best to keep good health, eat good things. Matter of fact, let's go into one of the things that our people do. Let's go to Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7 and just show a example of a sin bringing illness. Let's go with swine. Let's go to Exodus chapter 11 verse 7. So the book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the, Salakia, I put the wrong one. Leviticus. Shalom, Mark. Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 7. No, hold on one second. Leviticus. The book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he eateth not the cud, he is unclean to you. He is unclean to us. This is a specific law. And let's see why. The ones on Facebook with me, you won't be able to see this, but I got it on my YouTube on the screen. I'm gonna pull up some of the diseases that come from eating pork. Hepatitis E. Let's get the title of this. 4 hidden dangers of pork. This is just 4. Among foods that inspire a cult-like following, pork often leads the pack, as evidenced by the 65% of Americans eager to name bacon the country's national food. And you can't go nowhere, no restaurant where they ain't throwing pork at you, throwing the abomination at you. Luckily, I found turkey sauces and bacon that's so good, but that's what I got to cook at home. I can't go to the restaurants because all they doing is pork, bacon, sausage. Unfortunately, that popularity comes at a cost. Along with being the most commonly consumed meat in the world, pork may also be one of the most dangerous, carrying some important and under-discussed risks that any consumer should be aware of. Come on, man. They telling us. This is on healthline.com. Hepatitis E. Thanks to the revival of nose-to-tail eating, AFL has redeemed itself among health enthusiasts, especially liver, which is prized for its vitamin A content and massive mineral lineup. But when it comes to pork, liver might be a risky business. In developed nations, pork liver is the top food-based transmitter of hepatitis E. a virus that affects 20 million people each year and can lead to acute illness, fever, fatigue, jaundice, vomiting, joint pains, stomach pains, enlarged liver, and sometimes liver failure and death. So I'm going to just go down to the next one because it's a whole thing on this. Number 2, multiple sclerosis. This comes from pork. One of the most surprising risks associated with pork, one that received remarkable little airtime, is multiple sclerosis, MS, a devastating autoimmune condition involving the central nervous system. So that's another one. From eating pork. A lot of people think, oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's good. But everything good for you ain't good for you. Number 3, liver cancer and cirrhosis. Liver problems tend to trail closely on the heels of some predictable risk factors, namely hepatitis B and C infections, exposures to aflatoxins, and excessive alcohol intake. But buried in the scientific lectures is another potential scourge of liver health: pork. For decades, pork consumption has faithfully echoed liver cancer and cirrhosis rates around the world. In multiple country analysis, this correlation between pork and cirrhosis mortality clocked in at 0.40 using 1965 data. So cirrhosis and liver cancer, that's another one. We ain't even got the high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. Yersinia. Yersinia. I never heard of that one personally, but it's number 4 on the list. For years, all praises. 6 years clean of the pork. That's all praises because this stuff is not good for us. Yersinia. Yersinia. For years, pork precautionary motto was "Well done, a bus." A coincidence appears a type of roundworm infection that ravaged pork consumers throughout much of the 20th century. Thanks to change in feeding practices, farm hygiene, and quality control, pig-borne trichinosis has dropped off the radar, inviting pink pork back on the menu. But pork's relaxed heat rules may have opened the doors for a different type of infection: yersiniosis, which is caused by Yersinia bacteria. In the U.S. alone, Yersinia caused 35 deaths and almost 117,000 cases of food poisoning each year. Its chief entry route for humans: undercooked pork. So this is just 4 things from pork. This ain't even a whole list because, like I said, high blood pressure, diabetes, gout, all these different things, heart disease, we would have from eating pork. And I ain't even pulled nothing else from the animal kingdom that we're not supposed to eat. I just took pork out. Uh, Another disease that we can get by breaking the law. I'm gonna go through 2 more, and then I'm gonna read a prayer, and we'll be finished. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. Is that what I want? This is a major epidemic that's going on in our community. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Well, today, that the death isn't put in effect, but the curses are. So when they doing that, HIV is a transmitted disease that come from homosexuals, and then they pass it on to the women, and it's going on rampantly in our community. Rampant. It's ridiculous because of fornication, and that's the other one that I was going to go into. First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. Yeah, the homosexuality is out of control, and then you got down low brothers who have women, and then they go pass it on to the women. You know what I'm saying? And then we got it going on through the children. I know it's got that right. 6 and 18. So sexually transmitted diseases is a major problem. Why won't give me that one? In our community. Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Sexually transmitted diseases through fornication. That's the next one I'm putting. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. The Lord say, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication, sinneth against his own body. That's another law about fornicating. And it goes into just having sex with different people. Just, I'm sexually free. Well, when you be sexually free and got multiple partners, you spread around herpes, syphilis, and all types of venereal and sexual diseases one to another, and that's running rampantly. But when you're married to your partner, you can't pass nothing amongst yourself if you're not picking nothing up from the outside. The only way you bring something into the relationship if you're doing something on the outside, which is fornicate, and then therefore you will bring that into your relationship, which is not good, and that's a disease. Those are diseases. It all revolves around sin, cancers, multiple sclerosis, sickle cell, all these different diseases that we pick up. You can just check the lifestyle, and a lot of stuff people don't even know that they're eating isn't good for you. It's packaged in these, it's prepackaged. They putting cancers and stuff in our food. So that's why we got to be aware of what we're doing. We got to get back to growing our own foods. We got to get back to farming our own animals. A lot of people don't know about that. They wasn't raised like that. But we need to get back to that so we can control our own food. Matter of fact, before I get that last one, show you that that's a curse. Bring this out first. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Pull that right quick. Show you that us not having our own water, our own food, that's a curse. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against you, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. So in hunger, we got to get our food from him. And in thirst, we got to get our drink, our water from them. They're putting fluoride and different things. Look at what happened in Flint. And it's not just in Flint. It's all over that they doing this stuff. They just got the cameras on it, the food, all the different chemicals that they putting in the foods. That's why we got to be aware of what we eating. They making sure they putting pork and different things and everything to try to keep us unclean to our God. So we got to be vigilant and be aware of what we doing to the best of our abilities. All right. So I'm gonna end this with a prayer. It's gonna be long, but not that long because it's the whole chapter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 103, verse 1. All right. A psalm of David. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgiveth all thine iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases. So the most high forgives your iniquities, he heals you of your diseases, spiritually and physically. Verse 4, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagle. The Lord executeth righteousness and judgment for all that are oppressed. He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Israel. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, plenteous in mercy. He will not always chide, neither will he keep his anger forever. He has not dealt with us after our sins, nor rewarded us according to our iniquities. For as the heavens is high above the earth, so great is his mercy towards them that fear him, towards them that fear him, towards them that fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. Like as a father pitieth his children, so the Lord pitieth them that fear him. For he knoweth our frame, he remembereth that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field. So our days are numbered, man. It just depends on how short they are, on how we go about doing the Lord's work. They can be plentiful or they can be short. As for man, his days are as a grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourishes. For the wind passes over it, and it is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more. So when the wind passes over, if we gone, the place ain't gonna know us no more. Not as we were. But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear him. So this life is temporary, but your soul and your spirit and the things that you do are everlasting. So depending on how you deal down here will determine on how the Most High deal with you on the next level. If you're gonna receive everlasting life, or he gonna go ahead and let you go. That's why right now it's paramount. Okay, and his great righteousness unto the children's children. Verse 18, to such as keep his covenant and to do, and to those that remember his commandment to do them. The Lord has prepared his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom ruleth over all. Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. Bless ye the Lord, all ye his hosts, ye minister of his, that do his pleasure. Bless the Lord, all his works in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. So with that, I want to say Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High God of Israel, Kwame Yasharala. And I pray that my people come back to who we are, and we get together to serve in the Most High God the way that he told us to. So I hope people got edification. I love my people. All praises to the Most High God. Shalom.